Hey guys, hope you're having a great day as well as a great life.
As well as a great life.
I kind of forgot that because I normally say the second part, so it just came natural.
Yeah.
We're here with Freedom Shack Radio with the one and only golden-voiced Adam.
What's up, everybody? How we doing tonight?
Dude, I mean, you are going to make 55 to 60-year-old women have to leave their husbands.
I'm sorry about that, but you know what they say at the end of the day? Life in the big city.
Life in the big city. So what are we hitting today, fine feathered friend?
So Alex and I have had this kind of running thing where I really have grown into loving 80s music, and he has not.
I have. It feels like a hard thing in therapy to get through, where you're like, you've broken through the wall, so now you can talk about it, but you're like, that one time in middle school really effed me up bad.
Yeah, and I get it because, you know, it's crazy music. There's a lot going on. They had computers.
Literal laser sounds in
Yeah.
some of it, so it is wild.
But today we're going to hit a special tune that I think he will appreciate. Whether or
Okay.
not he'll like it is to be determined.
Very fair.
But I consider it one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
Let's get after it.
Didn't even say the title. Sledgehammer by... Well, it's also in the thing. You
Yeah,
guys
they're
know.
gonna
What are we
know.
doing? This
They're
is
gonna
crazy.
know.
This is YouTube stuff. Okay, let's do it. Cool text.
You got to move the mouse, bro. This is like a teacher when the mouse is in the middle of the screen.
Stop. I'm going to get called out in class. Is that what I do? There you go. Okay. Like I'm watching Quentin Tarantino. Okay.
So sick.
I mean, there could be sickness here. Ooh.
You could have a steam train if you just lay down your tracks. You could have an aeroplane flying if you bring your blue sky back. All you do is call me. I'll be anything you need. You could have a big dipper going up and down all around the bends. You could have a thunder car bumping. This amusement never ends. I wanna be the sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name? Oh, let me be your sledgehammer. This will be my testimony. Yeah.
Great drums.
Show me around your fruit cage, 'cause I will be your honeybee.
Groove is off the charts.
Your fruit cage, where the fruit is as sweet as can be. I wanna be your sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name? You better call the sledgehammer. This will be my testimony. I'm your sledgehammer. Let there be no doubt about it. The sledge,
I didn't breathe as much as I probably should have during that. Oh, there's
Hold
still
on,
more.
there's still-
Hold on.
There's
I
still
was
some
incorrect.
time. Music video edit. All right, we ranking this bad boy or what?
Ranking it, dude. This is the most aggressive. For one, I just have comments. That was the most aggressively 80s thing I think I've ever seen.
Sure.
I mean, 100%.
Yeah.
It felt like trying to recall a dream in real life.
The music video?
Yes. They did chicken, like the raw or made. I don't think they're raw, like just skinned chickens, and they're dancing, and then they're 2 chickens. And you're like, how long have there been 2 chickens? And they're like, don't worry about it. We're gonna go to dancing now.
Andy's on the couch like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, dude. Imagine. I want you to imagine going to a Walmart high on some amount of paint, like, and then double the amount of paint, and just go into the coloring section, flip to the first page, then flip to the 5th page. That's the music video.
Yeah. It's like you had a Sharpie in both nostrils.
For sure. Rating wise, okay.
On 3?
3.
You can think about it.
It's a lot. It was just a lot that came to me. It felt like I almost like I developed a new sense,
Okay.
and it's just overwhelming. Like, it's cool to be able to smell with your like eyes, but okay. 3, 2, 1.
S.
S.
Obviously, I mean, I'm showing it to you. It's obviously, I think it's
Oh.
an S.
Okay.
I mean, to me, if you want to talk about what makes the 80s like unique,
Okay.
I think this is the best example of like someone just distilling it down to like the groove, the reverby drums, the funky bass line, the keyboard stabs, the weird horns, the vocals just being catchy, the songs that are like droney, they kind of follow that drum beat the whole time. Like, I think that song does that the best of any song I've ever heard. So if you like it, it's perfect.
I'll say it was almost hard to pick apart. This is probably the least I was able to pick up musically from a song because of how much the music video was doing. And I actually appreciate it because it's what I was thinking, especially towards the end of it, is like, this is a wild thing to have seen, and I'm glad that it exists and somebody did it. Like, it seems like the pinnacle of, we started with stones, like scratching like little stick people into rocks, and they're like, oh, that's cool, you can do a circle for a head, and this is what that came to, is this.
This is the last
Yes.
slide on a PowerPoint of like the evolution of film.
Some aliens are like, and then these weird ape people did this. Isn't that cool? And they're like, I mean, I don't know if it's cool, but it certainly is.
Yeah, it's a time capsule piece for sure.
I think the drums were super cool. I loved the snare tone. I loved how aggressive the whole thing felt. His voice was really cool. The keyboard stabs were great. The horns. So it felt like it pulled from a lot of genre mixing too, and then kind of painted it in the shade of 80s.
Oh yeah, I just think that flute, the Japanese flute thing,
Yeah.
is just unbeatable. Like, if you want a catchy melody that's like 1 second long, go
It
to
is a good snippet. It is a really good auditory snippet.
It's just like, I don't know, something about that song just brings me to like this weird, because I'm a 90s kid.
Yeah.
Like 93.
Yeah.
So like my pop culture that I grew up on was like the spillover from the 80s into the 90s up until when the 2000s started and everything got kind of like,
Here's what I'll say. This song to me kind of felt like a ransom note, in the way that it's like almost a collage of a bunch of different magazines where you take the different letters from each and then you spell out a sentence, and you're like, give me I need 50 grand, or you can't see your grandma anymore. Right. And it's not so much about what it's saying. It's more so like the visual representation of that, and what they did, I think, is super cool.
Yeah, no, totally. What did you think of the, like, I guess we talked about the music video.
Yeah.
We talked about like the sounds of it, but as far as like songwriting, I think one thing that is interesting about a song like this is that there's not much to dig into. So it's like, if you're in the groove, it's incredible. If you're not, then you're like, oh yeah, they're just playing that thing over
I mean, I
and
love
over.
how you asked a question.
Where
and
like
answered
where
your
do
own
you
question.
where do you rank it in that spectrum? Because some people don't. If you're not gelling with it, then it's kind of boring.
So I know it definitely certainly wasn't boring, or else I wouldn't have rated it A.
Okay.
Because of how much stimulus was coming at me, I don't know what it was about at all. Like, if I had a test on this and there could be 3 answers, and I'd be stuck. There'd be no way.
Are we gonna pull up the lyrics?
We can. Do you want to just tell me?
I mean, it's like, basically he's just saying, if you would let me back into, like, we could have so much fun if you let me have fun with you, but in maybe like a sexual way.
Oh, okay.
You know,
is
he's-
his dick the sledgehammer?
We'll let the comments decide.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's dope. I grooved with it really, really hard. Like, again, it was just like multicolor, new senses it was just a lot. I think musically it still would have been a lot to contend with. And so to have the visual and that, but it's cool because it's like, I imagine being like, I don't know, like 15 the first time you see this maybe, or even 20, and seeing this when it first came out, and this has got to have been crazy. Like, you're like,
Oh, yeah.
whoa, okay, this is like, even the faces it's like, kind of the uncanny valley too, a little bit, and
All
the
stop
way that
motion.
yeah, but it's not just like, sometimes stop motion is so stop motion that it's like an old cartoon, and that's cool and it feels normal, and then it gets so stop motiony they're like, oh, that's real life pretty much. This is so weirdly in the middle of both that it's juddering, and there are some places that it works perfectly and you're like, that's exactly, like, I can see you making that word, and then others where which actually is most of it, that he's doing this kind of jolty, almost like your brain is glitching out every couple milliseconds. So
Yeah.
I don't know, really, really dope. Really
It's a
dope.
lot.
It's a cool 80s song.
It is a lot. Well, that was fun.
It was fun. Thank you for the Freedom Track Radio.
Yeah, next time we'll pick something a little more.
Dude, I like it.
I know you liked it. But
I did like it.
It's a lot. I think thinking about Genesis.
Yeah.
And then it's crazy that that's like the same dude, you know?
Yes. Yeah, dramatically different. But also, I would rather him have done that than just stay with the Genesis sound. Like, it's cool that he did something else. Like, I don't like when artists, like, through generations do, like, no matter what the musical landscape is, they do the same thing.
Right.
Because I don't think that's very human.
It
Like,
works for some people, but for
Yeah.
others, it's cool for them to mix it up.
I
Like,
still probably would prefer it most times when people do something a little, even if it's a little different. Like, you're not the same person in 1982 as you were in 1972.
you know what it is though? The 80s were weird because a lot of 70s bands tried to do it,
Yeah.
but they didn't like buy in. So that's how you get like our band, but with a keyboard.
Yeah.
But then he was like buying in and like pioneering that stuff.
I think the difference is authenticity. I
Yeah.
think there are some people that rode the wave and they're like, oh, our manager says we need to sound more 80s, so we're going to wear funny hats.
And have
right?
keyboards.
And have keyboards. And that feels so inauthentic, and I think people know that. And then there are some people, like I imagine him, where he just goes, oh, this is the landscape I'm in. I'm not trying to be 80s, but like these sounds are catching my ear and I like the sound of them. So they're almost like able to paint with the fine, like they have their own taste to be able to pick the cool things.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just trying to jump on the bandwagon, you don't really have the taste to pick the cool things. You're just like, oh, this is 80s, but you don't have any sense of why it's good.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so
No, it's a vibe.
it's a vibe.
Well, let us know in the comments what you think. Let us know if there's another 80s song that you think represents that well.
Yeah.
And we'll check it out.
And then also cut his voice doing something and just put it on loop so you can sleep to it, because it'll be pretty nice.
I do custom voicemails. Just shoot me an email.
Shoot him an email.
I'll do
Send
your
a carrier
voicemail
pigeon.
message.
Yeah, we'll see you.
All right, have a good night, everybody. If you like that video, get on Patreon. Woohoo! You pay a little bit of money, but there are dozens and dozens of singles that YouTube does not allow on their platform. They will get blocked. So we put them on Patreon. There's movies, there's podcast episodes, there is live streams, there is all kinds of stuff that you are going to want to check out. So get on patreon.com, type in Andy and Alex, go ahead and subscribe. It is how we pay our bills. It is how we feed our families. If you do not do it, then we are going to have to get divorced. Do not make us get divorced.
That's how I
We
buy
need
bread
this to feed our kids.
that we have one day.
It's important. Listen, do
Link in-
not
link in
screw
the
this up.
description. Link in the
Do not screw this up for us. Link in the bio.